At one point, ghosts were a person, shadow people were not. One of the many stark differences between a ghost and shadow person is that ghosts used to be a physical person. No one knows why the residual energy released when humans die creates ghosts for some people and not for others, but it very well may have something to do with that person having unfinished business on the corporeal plane. Shadow people have always existed. Whether they are from another dimension, a time traveler, or a demonic entity, it's believed that these creatures are fully aware of what they are doing. Both entities are drawn to you for similar reasons. One of the things that ghosts and shadow people have in common is that they are drawn to negative energy and people who are spiritually open. The main difference in this scenario is why ghosts and shadow people are drawn to someone. Ghosts may simply be making themselves visible to you because you're open, or something happened to you at a young age that made you a magnet for spiritual activity. While shadow people are also drawn to someone who's open, it tends to be a more malicious reason. They want to feed off of you in one way or another. If they can feed off your fear when you see them, great. If they can feed off the entities around you and the fear that creates, that's also good. Shadow people may be the ghosts of the living. The most out there theory about shadow people posits that they aren't technically ghosts or creatures of any kind, but rather they are people who are having out-of-body experiences. Some paranormal researchers believe that our consciousnesses leave our body while we sleep and allow us to show ourselves to other people who are tuned into our frequency. This differentiates shadow people from ghosts in a major way because it means that shadow people aren't even dead. It could be argued that if our consciousness leaves our bodies while we sleep, that they are technically the ghosts of the living, although it's likely that we'll never be able to determine if this is actually what's happening. While shadow people could be a figurative shadow of a person who's still alive, spiritual medium James Van Praagh claims that actual ghosts are usually what's left of a person who can't move on past the mortal plane of existence. Sometimes they just can't accept that they are dead. Shadow beings could be feeding off of ghosts. An interesting theory posited about shadow people is that they are likely aware of other types of paranormal creatures and that they feed off them the same way that they feed off of humans. If a spirit or an entity is trapped in a particularly haunted location, meaning that it's rich in negative energy, then it's likely that a shadow person or shadow people are aware of this location and use it as a feeding ground. It's been theorized that shadow people prefer the fresh negative energy of someone that they've trapped, but the residual energy of an entity trapped in its own torment for eternity is probably just as good. Shadow people are more likely to look like a person than a ghost. If you've never been visited by a ghost or a shadow person, your first experience with either can be terrifying and confusing. How do you know with which type of entity you're dealing when it comes to ghosts? There are a few different types of entities that you can encounter. There are ghosts with interactive personalities, like Bruce Willis at the end of The Sixth Sense or a Civil War battlefield ghost. But there are also ectoplasmic mists that are just as visible as interactive full-body apparitions. Aside from the two visible and easily recognizable types of ghosts, there are poltergeists or noisy ghosts, which are essentially pure energy. You're most likely to experience one of these if you have a teenager in the home or a large amount of pent-up negative energy. They knock things down, break windows, etc. Finally, there are orbs and the swirling bits of light that are most commonly seen in photographs. Shadow people, though, are usually described as being tall and human-like, but as if their bodies are made of shadows rather than flesh and blood. The most notable shadow person is the Hat Man, who's been appearing since at least 2001, since he was discussed on Art Bell's Coast to Coast AM. It's been theorized that Hat Man is a separate phenomena from shadow people, even though he appears in the same way as the rest of his creepy brethren. These entities have completely different intentions. Trying to determine the intentions of a ghost is nearly impossible. You might find, depending on what type of paranormal phenomenon with which you are dealing, that the ghost doesn't have any intentions. If you have a poltergeist in the home, it's taking cues from you or whomever's negative energy helped manifest the creature, and it's going to keep doing what it's doing until you cleanse the home. If you're dealing with an interactive ghost, it could be reenacting something from its life over and over without any ill intent towards you, despite the negative ramifications of a ghost clanging and banging around your house. The intent of a shadow creature is nothing but malicious. Since the first report of a shadow person, there haven't been any claims of one of these creatures doing anything positive whatsoever. Many paranormal experts believe that shadow people want to feed off of your negative energy and fear. You may have created a shadow person on accident. While no one knows exactly why shadow people exist, one interesting idea is that they are similar to poltergeists, meaning that humans create them from their own negative energy. While most ghosts are created through outside means, murder, suicide, etc., a poltergeist tends to be created when someone with a lot of pent-up negative energy becomes a vessel for their awful feelings. This is usually done subconsciously, although you could probably manifest a poltergeist or shadow person if you tried hard enough. If you believe that you've created a shadow person on accident, then your best bet is to try and clear all of the negative energy in your life. Start meditating, cleanse your apartment, do whatever you've got to do to stop feeding that horrible creature. Shadow people are conscious entities, ghosts are not. Paranormal experts have been debating for decades about whether or not ghosts can actually understand what's happening around them, or if they are simply going through the motions of a past life. It's believed that ghostly apparitions are simply the residual energy left over when a person dies, meaning that while you may be able to see them, they can't see or interact with you. On the other hand, shadow people are sometimes corporeal beings who are, at best, believed to be from another dimension, and at their worst, they may be demonic in nature. People who have had interactions with shadow people believe that the creatures make conscious decisions for how they'll treat a person.
Hey guys, thank you so much for the support and likes and comments down below, and also thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to see you in the next video. Then take care, bye.